All right, welcome to the Young Turks. Very, very exciting week coming up for a number of reasons here. Having some to do with us, which I'll explain in a second, and having, of course, a lot to do with the elections that are coming up tomorrow. I've got the latest numbers for you on that in this program. Also, another fun thing happening this week, internal Republican war. We told you it got started at the end of last week with Karl Rove burying a hatchet in Sarah Palin. There are more hatchets, more daggers. Sarah Palin strikes back. They're going back and forth, and it's awesome. And then I will take on two establishment media figures, the prototypical Washington media reporters, David Broder and Mark Halperin. They've both, of course, said terrible things. No, that's not fair. Halperin's is just silly. It's the usual nonsense. Broder's is horrific. So that's coming up a little bit later in the program. But first, let's do the fun announcements. First of all, I believe the election is tomorrow. That's fun and exciting. On Tuesday, Young Turks extravaganza, election night coverage, which will be electric. All right, so here's the situation. We start at 6 o'clock Eastern. We go till at least midnight Eastern. My question to you is, why? Oh, why would you watch the election anywhere but here? All right, we're going to have Ben Mankiewicz, Michael Schur, and I, as the hosts, of course. We'll be analyzing all the races. We'll give you all the latest numbers, what we expect to happen, and then as the results come in, there'll be a lot of this. Although probably not a lot of this. Nah, it's probably going to be a bloodbath. And so if you're a Republican or a conservative, you're going to love it. You're going to watch us go, oh no, not again. It looks like the numbers are bad, and we'll see how they play out. We'll see some of the critical, close races. Does Sharon Angle beat Harry Reid? As elections get closer, I get more and more excited. That's because I like this stuff. So on top of that, of course, we'll have analysts for you guys. Some of the strongest progressive voices in the country, like Jane Hampshire, David Sirota, Adam Green from PCCC. We will have some reporters, Eleanor Cliff from Newsweek, Richard Wolff from MSNBC, Ari Melber from The Nation. We'll have some politicians like Representative Tim Ryan from Ohio. We'll have Julian Bond from the NAACP. We'll have Tina Dupuy reporting on the California elections from Jerry Brown headquarters. And we'll even have conservatives. Joshua Trevino will come and rub it in probably after they have what looks to be a huge win. But we'll see. We don't know, and we won't see how bad the win is, or depending on your perspective, how good the win is, until tomorrow night. We'll see how big that disappointment is for the Democrats or progressives. Will Senator Feingold win? Will Alan Grayson win? He's in a very, very tough race. I can't wait to find out, and those things are still very much up in the air. All night long, theyoungturks.com, live coverage, 6 p.m. to at least midnight. We give you all the results. It would be madness to go anywhere else. Unless you were going to Sparta, I guess that would make sense. But I don't think they're doing election coverage in Sparta. So stay right here for the... That's actually a different movie, but nonetheless, you see my point. All right. So that's election night coverage. That's Tuesday. Okay, bring it. Furthermore, a little bit of fun news for you guys. I think it deserves this. I will be hosting on MSNBC for almost all of November. Okay. I'll be going to New York on a Wednesday and starting Thursday on November 4th, 3 o'clock Eastern for the duration. Well, for November. It's going to be, as the cheesy old ads used to say, like the Toyota ads, a November to remember! Look at this comment. Okay? It's going to be fun. Yes, I will be packing the Kraken, and he will be released from time to time. But it gets more fun. On Friday, November 5th, I will be hosting for Dylan Ratigan and Ed Schultz. It's a double Uger, double kind of TYT. We're bringing it to MSNBC. Can you imagine? See, 4 o'clock? What sicked it? Oh no, here comes 6 o'clock again! Oh no! So, a lot of elbows, a lot of flying off the top rope. November 5th is going to be awesome. Okay, now, as we do this, some people have, of course, as usual, expressed concern about TYT. Fair enough. Let me reassure for the 18th time. Listen, Young Turks isn't going anywhere. And as long as I'm in New York in November, I will be hosting the shows. I'll do MSNBC, then I'll come and do the Young Turks. I'll do it with Anna, and I'll also do some extra political stories. Of course, Young Turks isn't going anywhere, right? And in the long run, you know what? We're building a new set. That's another... We're full of news today, okay? That's coming up soon, and we're going to do it here in LA because the TYT network is too strong, okay? And, you know, there's some that question, hey, you know what, if you wind up, and I told you guys, right, that I got regular fill-in contract with MSNBC? Okay, all right. So that's good. So some question, hey, Cenk, are you going to sell out? And I see it in the videos, I see it on YouTube in the comments, et cetera, et cetera. Look, let me tell you something. That's a fair question. You know why? Some say that sometimes money corrupts people, sometimes power corrupts people, sometimes getting comfortable somewhere corrupts someone, right? And that the establishment kind of pulls you in and goes, come on, it's going to be all right, it's going to be all right, just don't say this and don't say that and just don't do this and don't do that and everything's going to be all right. You know who says that? I say that, okay? So am I aware of that? Absolutely, okay? And look, I believe in the Ben Franklin model. Ben Franklin believed in making money, okay? He was a capitalist, and I'm a capitalist. I say it all the time. Would I like to be rich? Hell yes, I would. I've said that from day one, right? And Ben Franklin was actually, with the Philadelphia Gazette, the first guy who came up with a model of selling ads in the newspaper to support the newspaper. That wound up being a very successful business model. But there was a day that somebody came in to give an ad to Ben Franklin's paper, and he thought that their product was nonsense, and that it might even, you know, have adverse consequences on his readers. So he said, I'm going to get back to you in a week. What he did was, for a week, he slept on the floor, he drank water, and ate bread. He came back to them a week later and said, no, that's okay, I'm not going to take your ad. Because I did that, and I think I could do that. If I had no money, I could still live and just be fine. Now, am I at the level of Ben Franklin? No. I don't want to sleep on the floor, and I don't want to just drink water and eat bread. But I'd like to think that when push came to shove, that I would do the right thing, and that I would not sell out for money or power or any of that stuff. But the thing is, you got to be the judge of that, right? And so the establishment, whenever you go inside the establishment to any degree, will try to change you, right? Not because it has some conspiracy, it's just that's the nature of things. But what we've promised you over and over is that we will change the establishment. So therein lies a wonderful, fun drama. So who's going to win? The establishment or the TYT Army? I'm betting my money on the TYT Army. And this is really, in a lot of ways, quite ambitious. But our goal is to get inside the establishment, and there is a reason for that, by the way. We have this huge online presence. We're now the largest online news show in the world, so hell no, we're never going to let that go, okay? But at the same time, the people in the White House, the people in power, the people in Washington, every single newsroom in the country, radio, television, newspaper, have cable news on. They all have cable news on. So there's value in going to cable news so we can help to change the system. So our bold and ambitious plan is to make sure that the system does not change us, but that we change the system. Can we do it? Well, we're all going to find out together, aren't we? Wish us luck, and with you guys backing, which is always the key factor, I think we can. I think we are just that bold. So, I would like you to tell, who are the people we would normally tell? Oh, yeah.
Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell Randy Gonzalez. I'm coming.
We're all coming. Okay, let's see how it turns out. Should at least be fun, so check it out. All right, so those are the fun announcements for today. Now, let's get to some of the polls. Well, the question at hand, unfortunately, is there going to be a massive loss for the Democrats tomorrow, or a colossal, epic, historical loss for the Democrats? So those are your two options. Now, the House is different, the Senate is different, and of course the governor's races are different. In the governor's races, there's actually some decent numbers in Ohio that you might not even lose, but probably will. How's that for a silver lining? That's how bad the Democrats are these days. I'm just giving that to you as an example, but the governor's races look like they're going to lean towards the Republicans, but not going to be as bad a bloodbath as the House is, for example. So when you go to the House, so let me give you some context, okay? The worst loss ever was 70 seats. That was in 71 seats, I should say. That was in 1938, okay, in the middle of the Great Depression. People are mad. They feel that they're not getting, improvement in the economy quickly enough, and they vote out 71 Democrats, okay? Second worst were 55 seat losses in 1942 and in 1994. Of course, that's the Republican Revolution. The Republicans need 39 seats to win the House. According to some Democratic insiders that were talking to Howard Fineman of the Huffington Post, used to be with Newsweek, he's got a lot of good sources, and they're not definitive, of course, and they look at some of the same polls we do. They have some internal polling as well, but they think it could be as bad as a 70-seat loss in the House, which, of course, is of historic proportions. And what's interesting is that when you look at the overall polling, hey, do you like the Democratic Party better or the Republican Party better? In fact, the Democratic Party does better. It's done better throughout. It still has about a 6-point lead. Now, when you ask congressional district by district, are you planning to vote for X or Y? Of course, the Republican has the lead. And even if you ask within the district, are you planning to vote for a Democrat or vote for a Republican, the Republicans have a big lead, right? And Gallup says that the Republicans overall have a 15-point lead, which is unheard of. Now, that's a little bit of an outlier. The other polls have it just a little bit closer, of course, like an ABC Washington Post poll has it as close as 4 points. Now, wait a minute. So what's the difference, right? If you're paying attention, you're saying if the people like Democrats better in general, why are they against Democrats, even by name of Democrat within the district? It's because people are mad, and they think the economy has not improved, and they want to vote the bums out. But it's not just because the economy is in bad shape, which is definitely a huge factor. The other factor is they think, you know what, I'm sick of these politicians. And it's always the same thing. And somehow the bankers get huge bailouts, the richest people get tax cuts, and we get nothing. We get unemployment. We get a great recession. And so Democrats said they were going to change that. And in the last 2 years, what happened? They didn't change it. The bankers continue to get the bailouts. The richest people continue to get the tax cuts. Corporations even got tax cuts for offshoring our jobs. Now, the Democrats tried to change that, but they didn't succeed. The Republicans blocked them. So people look at it, and they don't get into the specifics sometimes as much as we do, covering it every single day. They go, all right, I'm going to vote the bums out. And currently the bums are the Democrats. So even though they might not like the Republicans, and every poll indicates that the Republicans are more unpopular overall, they're still going to throw the bums out. And those bums are largely Democrats at this point because they threw the Republican bums out earlier. So here comes a big, big election with what is going to be, in my estimation, of course, very ironic results. The irony is that people are mad at what happened, and they're going to put in charge people who created the mess in the first place. Now, why are we in the Great Recession? Well, that happened because of Republican control under the Bush administration. That's a fact. There's no and ifs or buts about it. In 2007, 2008, we have the giant collapse under Bush, Republicans in charge, and now we're going to hand the keys back, as Obama would say, to those same guys. Did the Democrats do enough? Hell no. I say it every day on the show. I take a lot of heat for saying that every day on the show. But it's true. But to put the Republicans back in charge, well, that's asinine, honestly. And that is, unfortunately, the asinine mistake we're about to make. And, you know, all your Tea Party candidates are like, oh, we're against the establishment. Yeah, we're with you. Throw the bums out. They've already taken record amounts of money from the bankers, the oil company executives, Chamber of Commerce, multinational corporations. They're already bought, and they can't wait to give them more breaks. So the way I see it, the American people are about to make a huge mistake tomorrow. And, of course, the next question is, what do we learn from that mistake? If we learn that Democrats should then become more like Republicans, that mistake will be terribly compounded. And we will have an enormously hard time coming back from that. If we learn the mistake that, hey, next time you promise someone change, the next time you say that you're going to take on the powers in Washington, the next time you say you're going to change the system, you might want to look into that. Now, Who wants to take a guess as to whether we're going to learn the right or the wrong lesson? If history is any indication, we're in a lot of trouble. All right, now, finally, in this segment, let me give you some breakdown of the Senate voting. I'm going to go state by state real quick. And, of course, tomorrow we'll get into this at great length before the elections and after. Washington the state of Washington does not look as comfortable as it did before. I thought before, Patty Murray seems to have it locked up. Not so locked up anymore. Dina Rossi is in some polls only 1 point behind her. Other polls have it at 4 points. Murray, if you believe in the polls, will probably pull it out, but all of a sudden it's really nip and tuck and not nearly as clear as we want it to be. In Colorado, although it's trending in the opposite direction, Ken Buck still does hold on to a lead over Michael Bennet, so the Republicans have what appears to be, well, the last poll was 4 points in favor of Ken Buck. Overall, he's got about a 1 point lead when you put all the polls together. So Colorado, that's a great mystery which way it's going to go. Now, good news for the Democrats is West Virginia is pulling more and more towards Joe Manchin, the Democratic candidate. He is up by 5 points in the latest poll, 4 points overall. It seems like, well, 3.6 or so overall over John Race, the guy with the laser beams in the sky. Carly Fiorina is down significantly, over 5 points by some estimations, sometimes up as much as 8 points down to Barbara Boxer. So California looks good. Pennsylvania looks bad. It's still close, but Pat Toomey has about a 4 point lead on Joe Sestak. Alaska is anybody's guess. There's polls that have Murkowski as the writing candidate. She was, of course, a Republican senator there, leading by as much as 16 points. But then there are other points that have Joe Miller, the Tea Party candidate, up by 7. So you know what that means? That means they have no frickin' idea. So we'll see if Joe Miller wins in Alaska. The Democrat is only 5 points behind both of those guys, so you never know. That could be some sort of amazing upset. So there's Nevada, of course, is as close as it could possibly be, but at this point, the latest polls have Sharon Angle leading 1 point, 2 points. I think I saw one that was up to 4 points. So at this point, if you believe the polls, Sharon Angle would beat Harry Reid. Look, if you're not going to tune in tomorrow to see how that goes down, I guess you don't care that much about this stuff. That's okay. It's okay. But, I mean, I can't wait to see what happens. And, of course, we'll let you know on the YoungTurks.com. All right, come right back, Young Turks.
Look at me, hands in the air like it's good to be alive. And I'm a famous rapper, even when the paths are all crooked D. I can show you how to do-si-do.
All right, back
I can
on
show
the
you
Young
how to
Turks.
scratch
Back
a
in
record.
with you.
I can take apart the
Casper, first. I know what you should have gone. It's Halloween.
What?
And you got to do it next year. Casper the Friendly Host.
Ah.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Okay.
yes.
So obvious.
Clever.
Now, we gave you crap for wanting to go as a penguin.
Yes.
JR gave you a lot of crap over it. What are you, a 3-year-old, etc.
Right.
I was at a really cool Halloween event this weekend. I was in Madison, Wisconsin, as a lot of you know. Mm-hmm. And they had Freak Fest. Freak Fest isn't playing, okay? Mm-hmm. It's quite serious. Mm-hmm. And so there's, all thousands of people in the streets. Everybody's having fun. Wall-to-wall penguin costumes.
I know, because penguins are cute. Everyone wants to be a penguin.
No, I've never seen penguin outfits before,
Right.
unless they were on 3-year-olds. All of a sudden this year, the penguin outfit is hot. How does that happen? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Come on. Penguins are adorable. They're cute. Everyone wants to be a penguin. I wanted to be a penguin. Look, okay, you guys gave me crap. You guys told me, no, don't be a penguin. That's ridiculous. You're going to look like a 5-year-old. People are going to think you're weird. I didn't care, okay? I budgeted $40 to go to the costume shop, buy a penguin outfit. I was going to be a penguin. I want to be comfortable because I don't know if you guys noticed, Halloween night, or not Halloween night, Saturday night, the day before Halloween when all the parties were popping, it was cold. It was cold. And I wasn't about to wear some skanky outfit.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, good for you.
All right, so.
You know what's an outfit that could help in the cold? A penguin outfit.
Exactly.
They're familiar with the cold.
So I went to I was going to go to the costume shop and purchase a penguin outfit. Like I said, I had budgeted $40 to buy it. And prior to going into the costume shop, I got a little sidetracked and I went into this store called Nordstrom's Rack. I don't know if you've ever been in one.
Okay. Here's my thoughts on that. Disaster.
Oh, absolutely. So I walk in, and I'm like, I'm not going to spend this $40 on anything other than the costume.
God.
I saw the sexiest pair of pumps in the world.
In the world.
I had to buy them. They were a work of art. They were beautiful. I just thought about all the different outfits I could wear them with. I was like, penguin costume for one night for a couple hours, or pumps. I bought the pumps. So then I didn't have any money left over to buy a costume, and I had to improvise. So
now we're having fun.
So for Halloween, I dressed up as Anna Kasparian circa 2004.
Well, that's clever, okay? It's exactly the kind of costume I would do where people go, that's not a costume. Okay.
Except I dressed up. I was prom queen.
Oh! Oh, please. So, but you weren't prom queen, were you?
I was prom princess.
Oh, you were?
I was prom princess.
What's with all you guys? That's...
So Ladis dressed up as a nerd.
Uh-huh.
He's like my nerdy date. And then I dressed up as prom princess.
All right, I'll give you something. That's good. Did you wear your kicking pumps with it?
No. I'm saving those for a special occasion.
Okay. That's funny. Okay. All right, that's something. No, that's a costume. Okay, do you know what I was?
What were you?
I am from the village of Minerva.
I have what I've decided to call talking costumes.
Right.
Okay? They're not dress costumes. I'm a character. So I went to the TYT get-together on Saturday night at 8:30 in Madison, and I kept saying,
Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell Randy Gonzalez, I'm coming. In the middle of opportunity. Drastic times require what? Drastic measures, yes! Who said that?
okay, just different Phil Davison quotes throughout the night.
Right.
Like, it just would be hanging out, and I was like, now let me tell you one of my most favorite quotes from Einstein. Okay. So, it both scares and confuses people.
Right.
And then, you know, Wendy is one of the people who says, that's not a costume, right? And I thought, wait a minute now. I'm a talk show host. I think it's very appropriate that I have a talking costume. Okay, so that's what I went as. And then we did the TYT get-together, then we went to Freak Fest, and then we saw all the penguins.
So you had a lot of fun?
Of course, yeah, it was awesome. As always, I love the TYT viewers that were there. We had some members, longtime viewers, la la la. It was great. Oh, what are you talking about? Somebody proposed to their girlfriend.
Oh, I was wondering about that. What happened?
James.
Were you there? Well, of course you were there.
No. James emailed me and said, I want to propose. Can you be involved?
Right.
Okay, because his fiancée now loves the show, right? Is it Alethea, right? I always butcher the pronunciation of the names. Okay, so if I got it wrong, sorry. But anyway, so when I came in, I'm like, I am from the village of Minerva. And then so everybody's paying attention, right? And I said, listen, James has been emailing me some good ideas. He's got a good idea tonight. Okay, and then boom.
Aww.
Oh, it's a TYT Halloween. Okay. By the way, new TYT tradition. If you were following us on Facebook, you were seeing all this happen, okay? Andrew's going to make a tape of this, of the whole Wisconsin trip. You know, I was drunk. There was fun things. We tried to canvas for Feingold. There was things that happened. I gave a fiery speech. So Andrew will put that together. That'll come a little later, okay? But so the other Halloween exploits are that the little fella, when I came back to L.A., oh, teddy bear outfits.
Oh, my God.
Okay,
Oh
Facebook.com/TYT Nation. Okay. All right, JR.
I just want to rewind. The specifics of the proposal, did you walk in and then you said something or you gave him the mic? What was that little specific?
Well, you'll see it on Andrew's tape. That's why I was. But the specific was just as like I said. I got everybody's attention, and then I said James has been emailing me some great ideas, and he's got a great idea now. Okay, and then he gets up, goes on bended knee, okay. So I love that. That was just fun for everybody. We had a good time, man.
Yeah, it sounds
We
fun.
really did, and a lot of people were in costumes. Oh, here's. Oh, I knew there was one. Like,
Come on!
By the way, I only have 3 or 4 dozen of those pictures.
Come on.
Okay. Was that kid made to be a teddy bear or what?
That is so cute. You know, it's funny because when he was first born, he looked a lot more like you, and now as he's getting older, he's starting to look more like Wendy. Like in that picture, I see a lot of Wendy's features in his face, like his eyes.
Okay. Anyways, so one of my friends, Bora, emails back. I sent him this picture, and he's like, "Look, he's not a toy. Stop treating him like a toy." I'm like, "Nope, we refuse." He's like, "Second of all, you got the kid in a teddy bear outfit. His name is Prometheus Maximus." Okay,
that's true.
Okay,
He makes a good point.
and he's like, "You can't let Wendy do this." And I was like, "Except for the fact that I picked out the outfit." Except for that small fact. Now now Wendy gave me a host of choices. Okay, we looked at tigers, which I'm glad we didn't do because every Asian baby was in a tiger outfit.
Oh, really?
And you know why?
It's the year of the tiger?
It's the year of the golden tiger. So they were all in golden tiger outfits, and I was like, oh, please, so cliched. Okay, and there was chimps, and there was this, and there was that, and we chose a teddy bear, and so we had a great time. All right, anyway, last thing on Halloween. I've decided a new TYT tradition. I'm going to go gangbusters on this next year, okay? Dress up as TYT characters. I don't mean us, which if you do, that's awesome. Like somebody said they were going to be Ben all night. Okay. Anyway, somebody said they were going to be Dave. No, not by. Anyway, I don't know. That's all fun and good. But no, I mean like be the documents lady, and another guy said he was going to be the Black Mountain Man, and he was going to go around with a big stick and go get. And he was going to
rough talk him and run him off.
Okay, so that wasn't my idea. I mean, I said, hey, if you go out as a TYT anything, send us pictures and we'll put it up on Facebook and the show and stuff.
Right.
And then everybody built that idea.
Right.
And I love that idea. So we'll see what characters we have next year. So that should be fun. And by the way, that's why I was Phil Davison. I took the idea from the Facebook group, from you guys. And that's why. And the people in Wisconsin, I mean, it was one thing to do at the TYT get-together. I'm in the streets of Wisconsin going, I'm from the village of Minerva! Although, then a couple of people came up and they're like, Jank?
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay, fun for everybody. All right, now let's move on.
All right, let's begin with Turkey. After 2 years, Turkey has lifted its ban on YouTube. And the reason why they decided to do that is because, well, first, they initiated the ban in March of 2008 because there were a couple videos on YouTube that insulted Ataturk.
Of course.
And Ataturk is the founder of Turkey.
Yes,
right?
correct.
So politicians in Turkey were insulted. They were not having it. So done. YouTube's banned. Over.
It was done. It was done.
It was done.
I was thinking of going as like, you know, everybody was two of the most popular outfits were Snooki and The Situation, right? But I was thinking of going as Sammy. So I could say to everybody, "You're done. You're done."
I really want to see video of her doing that.
Okay. She doesn't quite do it that way, but anyways.
All right, so now Turkey has decided that they're going to lift the ban, and the reason why they're going to do that is because YouTube has removed the videos with individuals insulting Ataturk.
Yes. What am I going to do? Look, come on. Look, first of all,
choose your words wisely, Luger.
I know. Okay, we don't want to.
I've learned from my mistakes.
We don't want to put ourselves in trouble here. Okay, but first of all, we're ecstatic that Turkey has lifted the ban on YouTube. That's a great thing. Okay, I've been getting a decent press coverage in Turkey, so excellent. Welcome to YouTube, my Turkish friends. Now the other thing is, look, on Ataturk, just because somebody says something doesn't make it true. Okay, and doesn't mean that you should be offended, doesn't mean you should ban it, okay?
Right.
There's, like David Broder, I went nuts about him in the last segment, right? He's a writer for the Washington Post. I think what he said was beyond untrue, was grotesque. Doesn't mean I think David Broder should be banned. Doesn't mean I don't think he should be able to write. There's no harm in it. If you think they're wrong, they're wrong. You make a counter argument. So if somebody has some, and they want to get under your, see, that's the thing. They're denying, they were in the past, and now that they've lifted this is a great thing, they were denying Turkish citizens the benefit of enjoying this outlet, what is basically international television, because some people successfully got under their skin.
Right.
You're playing into their hands if you ban YouTube because of that. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying. And, you know, it's interesting because in Turkey, it's illegal to insult Ataturk, right?
Right.
But what's so interesting about the internet is your country's laws don't come into play when it comes to the internet. okay? The internet is where people are able to express themselves freely, and feeling offended is a good thing because I think that provokes thought, that provokes, you know, arguments, debates, things that are good. And if, like you said, if somebody's saying something negative toward Ataturk and you don't agree, well, you don't have to agree, and what they're saying is necessarily not true.
Look, being as secular as it gets, I love Ataturk, right? And I'm Turk, you know, ne mutlum Türk'üm diyene, you know what I'm saying, right? But it doesn't bother me at all if someone criticizes Ataturk. Who cares? So they're wrong, I'm right. For example, online there's Nazis, right? Do I agree with the Nazis? Of course not. But I don't have to ban them.
Right.
They do a show where
Or
they get...
even worse, ban the entire, you know, internet over it.
Yeah, no, it's crazy talk. But look, the result is a great one. The ban has been lifted. So I'd like to officially welcome the entire country of Turkey to YouTube. Welcome. Hoş geldiniz. Okay, let's take a quick break now and come back with more stories.